Good morning. My name is Nilay Patel. Welcome to Wake and Make. I am a designer here at Jesse James Beads, and my job is to bring you fun, creative, and easy projects using the ever-stunning Jesse James Beads. Now, I am all over some of the materials that we'll be using today, so I'm going to cover that in today's particular design lesson. And I wanted to show you guys what we're going to be working with on Thursday, because we do Nilay at Night, which is sort of themed off of the Nickelodeon old 90s shows that used to air. And we called it Nilay at Night now, since we're doing creativity then as well. So those are on Thursdays. But just to recap on the schedule, we are doing tutorials all the time. You can catch us on Saturday mornings from 10 a.m. Eastern time, and that's Central time, and 11 o'clock Eastern time, and on Thursdays at 6 p.m. Central or 7 p.m. Eastern time. We've always got something fun and fantastic going on. But for today's tutorial, I wanted to use these beautiful little pendants. Now, this is a butterfly made of stone, and it's got this beautiful sparkly edge that's adhered to it, and so I'm really excited about that. And I wanted to use this beautiful tassel as well, which is quite gigantic, but I think it'll be a lot of fun to work with. And I also have some chain. I have it all laying on the table, but quickly, since it is the morning, and I do want to, because I'm feeling so creative, and I hope you guys are too, I just want to do a quick little toast with you guys with my morning coffee. Delish. That's exactly the wake-up call that I need for some of this creativity, right? I also wanted to cover, again, next Thursday's material. So let me pan down and show you guys what I'm working with here. Here we go. Sorry, that is a little post-it note that I had as a reminder. Real quick, this is the chain that I'm going to be using, but let me hop over to Thursday's materials real quick. Okay, so again, this is Nilay at Night, Thursday coming up. We're going to be working with this beautiful rose. It is a large acrylic rose is the best way to describe it. It's got a top drilled hole there, and it is just stunning. It's quite large, actually. Trying to see if I have if this were my plier handles, right? Like, look how gigantic that is. That's a really good size rose. So I think that'll make a pretty dynamite pendant. And I have this beautiful matte gold chain that I want to combine with this, because the rose and the gold seem to go really well together. And I think I wanted something a little bit unique and different, so I wanted to add a pop of color with the shag tassel. And if you guys checked out the website yesterday, which I'm wondering if the deal is still going on, so it might be worth another peek. If you hop over to jessejamesbeads.com, they usually have a lot of great sales and even freebies that they do with purchases. So check it out. I know they were doing a special on shag tassels, and I really love these guys. They're like a tassel times 3, basically, and just one connected after the other. Beautiful pop of color. And of course, I just have some craft wire. This is, I believe, 14 gauge. And so I'll be combining all of this together into some sort of magical design. Again, this is on Thursday. So for today, though, since that's on the later shopping list, today I'm going to be working with this beautiful tassel. And I have this butterfly, which I just showed you guys. So I want to kind of dangle the tassel below the butterfly, and I have this beautiful chain that I'm working with. It's got all these cool black dangles on it. It is quite a statement chain, and I think this will be perfect to not only use as the rope of the necklace. Let's see if I could scoot some of this down, but I kind of want to use a piece of it to hang off of the butterfly as well, just so it has that continuity and it doesn't just stop abruptly at the rope. I kind of want it to go down and combine with the rest of the design. So I'm trying to think through of how I could combine some of this stuff together, and I think I want to create some air between the chain and the butterfly pendant. And so I'm going to use this gigantic jump ring. I think I'm going to put one below and above the butterfly pendant like that, and then use another jump ring to connect these guys. And I have this beautiful little clasp here that is also big. So this is not a small necklace, you guys. This is going to be a pretty good statement piece. And so I think I want to use that as the clasp for this and connect that to that. Cut off some of this, put it down here, and then put the rest up here. So now I have to work through this design. I have it all sort of assembled in my head, and now I have to do it in real life, right? So first thing is I'm going to figure out how to attach my butterfly to the jump rings, and to do that, I need to have some wire on hand. So I ran out of brass 20 gauge wire, unfortunately, so I'm going to use this black, which is actually kind of a perfect match just because this chain has black inside of it. So I'm going to go with that, I think. And because this is drilled all the way through, I think that'll be perfect to make some wire wrap loops on those sides. I'm going to be using my Xuron cutters to trim this. These are my new pliers that I'm sort of testing out for my Jesse James beads people. It is double lined, I suppose is the best way to put it. Let me put that down so it'll focus correctly. As you can see, there's actually two razors there that make that blunt end. But I guess the purpose of it is it's a heavier duty pair of cutters, and whenever you do cut it, it doesn't fling the wire across the room, as sometimes that does happen. So it's a very unique pair of pliers. We will have it hopefully in stock here soon for you guys to test out. I'm all over these. I've been using them tremendously a lot with everything, and I'm just in love with them. So keeping those aside, because I will be using them here shortly again, I'm going to find a pair of bent nose pliers and some round nose pliers, and I'm just going to make myself a little loop, wire wrap loop. Again, that's purely based on the idea that I want something secure. I know sometimes my simple loops do fall apart. I don't know if that happens to you guys, but you could very well be sure that once a wire wrap loop is locked in place, it's not going to ever really shift or move or have anything happen to it. So there we go, just do that. This one's got a seam, luckily for us, so I think I'm just going to open the jump ring and then put it in there directly, instead of messing around with putting it in between the wires at this point. I'm just going to wrap it a couple times, no need to go overboard. I really just want more of the secure factor rather than the aesthetic factor for this particular design. And I think because the butterfly is so big, you'll probably miss the wire wrap part anyway. I'm going to use my cutters for this. So as you can see, it didn't fling, it totally like held it in place, which is pretty awesome. So now I don't have to wear safety glasses. Not that I really ever did, I've always risked it, but now I know for sure that my eye will not be in the way of any of this. So I'm just going to use my chain nose pliers here, my bent chain nose, to try and tuck that into place. There we go. Keeps snapping on me. Sometimes that happens. I just didn't have a really good grip on it. But in any case, I'm going to slide that guy down into the little crevice there and basically create the same thing. If this is a little intimidating and tight for you guys, you could definitely put a bead in it. Let me see if I've got anything on hand that I can use to show you. I have this. Let's see if this matches. Kind of matches. See if I can put that there. But you see, it just gives me a little bit more room and even a decorative touch there. I don't know if I love that one or not. I'm very picky with my beads. This one's more sparkly, so I kind of want to use that. Let me switch that out real quick. Any of these beads are in the mini mixes, which is very handy to have, trust me. I might even put one above and below, actually, now that I'm really looking at it. Sometimes I'm totally like doing this on the fly, and so I'm designing with you guys as we put this together. But that's the fun part, really, for me, is to not really have an expected idea or outcome. That way, if I can do it, I know you guys can definitely do it. since I am always running into sometimes these little problems or bloopers that happen along the way, but it's all in good fun. Ooh, I do happen to have a matching one. Okay, so I'm just going to string that on. And I'm going to basically replicate the same thing I did earlier. So I'm just going to give this a nice sharp bend, and then put this in my pliers, wrap it around really easily. Sometimes you can move your butterfly there to kind of accommodate a little bit of space to work with. Let me grab my pliers. What I'm doing is I'm just pulling on it to give it that extra structure that it needs for the round shape. There we go. And I'm just going to wrap it a couple times. Again, no need to go crazy with the wrapping. I just want it to be secure. I think I'm going to use my pliers to help me out this time. We go. And lucky that does spin. So that's also a benefit of having the beads on either side of this. And now I'm just going to trim it. Just like that. Trim and tuck. That's really the key here. And let's see if I can do this pretty efficiently. There we go. Pretty easy so far. Now it does help that I'm using craft wire that is on the softer side, and most craft wires tend to be that way anyway, and so that's just something that you guys should check for just in case though. Some wires such as brass are a little bit harder to work with, but in any case that's good to go. So now I'm going to open up my jump ring, attach those into it. There we go. There we are. Attach that guy. And I could have my jump ring attached to the tassel, but I kind of like how it, all the circles are exactly the same in the same direction. So I think I'm just going to use smaller jump rings that I have here setting aside for me to attach these in place. So let me open that up, put that in. Oops, didn't open it quite far enough. There we go. Into there. Is that going to be big enough? Oh, yep, I guess it will be. Perfect. I'm not going to use my round nose pliers to close it. I'm actually going to use my other chain nose that I have handy. I have a little box here just full of tools. A tip that I would recommend is I just went to the local cigar box, or cigar shop, I should say, and just grabbed one of their empty boxes for $1, and I've just basically cleaned it out, got rid of any of the smell with Febreze, and then put all my tools in it, so it's quite handy. Oh, I love that. Okay, so now I kind of want to dangle some of this off of it. So it looks like I've got a little link here that I can undo somehow. I don't know if it's got a seam or not, which does kind of scare me. But I think I can actually remove this component from it and use that seam to, or not the seam, but that link to attach that to a jump ring. So let me see if I've got a jump ring handy. Again, guys, I'm just having fun here, and I hope you are too. This is kind of just a really relaxing project and perfect for the morning time. Let's see if I can undo that. Sometimes these little jump rings are stuck together. So I'm going to put that in there. There we go. Pull that in. It just adds a little bit of texture that I think the tassel needed, this particular beaded chain. And again, I think I like the continuity of the rope chain part that I'm going to add to it. So again, same factor here is I'm going to figure out, working with quite a large piece here, but I think I can attach this once I trim it. Actually, I might be able to utilize this little link part. And I have smaller jump rings here handy that I can tear apart. There we go. And I'm just going to use this to attach that to the chain. Pretty nifty. You can almost recycle any part of this chain, which is great. Here we are. It's so pretty. And that butterfly is quite the statement piece. So now I think I'm just needing to measure this out for an appropriate length, which I want this necklace to be a little bit longer just because of the size of the tassel. And so I'm thinking maybe like a good 18 to 22 inch necklace. 18 might even be too short depending on what size we're going for here. But let's see if I can check that out. Plenty of chain left over, which is perfect. Because I'd love to do a matching bracelet with this. But I'm wondering, I think roughly 20 inches to 22 inches is probably good. Let's see if we can add this guy in. And what's great is my clasp that I'm working with is going to connect to that large jump ring. So as you can see here, it's a pretty good size, and that ring is going to be just perfect for that. So, it looks like everything fit amazingly, so that's great. The size of these jump rings are about 4mm, by the way, and so if you have some of those on hand, that's great. If you don't, I would definitely hit up the shop there, but you just press on this clasp whenever you are wanting to insert stuff in. So that's pretty much it. A little bit of texture, a lot of fun, and definitely a bigger, bold statement piece. But let me flip around the camera so I can give you guys a top view of this design. So, there we go. All right. I hope you guys love that design. Let me show you what we made. I'm pretty excited about it. Check it out. So we have this beautiful rope chain that we connected to the top with jump rings. And we just added this beautiful butterfly pendant, with this tassel, and continued our chain into the tassel as well. Again, all connected with jump rings, and we just made some simple loops here with some accent beads. So very, very easy design with a wow factor, right? But yeah, we'll have this pictured and put on Facebook for you guys to look at. And this demonstration will be uploaded to 2 different places. First, check out www.jessijamesbeads.com, and on there we won't have only just this tutorial, but we'll have a ton more in the video tutorial section. And definitely find us on YouTube, and please subscribe. Jessie James Beads, just go to youtube.com, search for Jessie James Beads, and you will definitely find us. Last couple things is I actually have 2 brands. One is Silver Silk and More. I have this little sticker to show you. So you could find me on Facebook for Silver Silk as well, and check that out. I'll have a ton of Jessie James Beads examples, demonstrations, and tutorials as well. And I have a creative happy hour that I like to do on Facebook called Beads and Bubbles. And I do love toasting, first of all. And champagne and beads just make it even better. So I'm on Facebook and Instagram as well for that. And Jessie James Beads is also on Instagram, so please check us out there. Tons of examples and inspirations out there for you. So with that, I leave you this morning with hopefully being inspired, wanting you guys to go out there and create and enjoy the day. So cheers to that with this coffee mug. Good. I'm going to enjoy the rest of my day, and until Thursday, you guys be creative. Bye.